Hello people, it's me, Libluini, and we are back to Dominion 6. Again, this time it's Caelum time, with Hilmar Valga Petersen's attempt to conquer the world to the power of EVE Online. This time around we are making slightly lost abominations to save up our air games. We actually found a fucking site, so this is great. This guy has Death level 4 and Earth level 1, but he found an Earth site. This is my typical luck here. Then our neighbors are still fighting. Ulm is taking on almost beaten Vettiheim and still winning. That's just a beatdown that makes you sad. And Femini is still trying to raid, but TC is fighting back with more efficiency here, stomping on the tiny squadron of sacreds. Sorry, with his own big stack of sacreds. Yeah, this is not exactly an even fight. But I should switch on team color squares. I should probably take a closer look if it's possible to put this on by default. At least red colors mix nice with the green background, so I don't have to squint here. Fighting not too bad, but yeah, that's not a good idea. And not even making it. That's oh yeah. Oh, fuck. Oh yeah, of course. The ancestor vessel's trying to shoot on the fleeing units first. A bit cruel. And one of them flees. Oh, second one tries to... Oh, lost a horse. Lost a rider, sorry. So yeah, we have one rider trying to run away because his moral roll failed. 1 of 39. And the other guy got chanked and then had his horse run away. And then some sheep undead died, and in exchange, a sacred leader and her 7 sacred daughters get killed to death. So I would say that's a clear loss for Femini here. Then in Umbro, Ulm has stopped underestimating TC and sent a big stack right back. So now there are 2 big stacks combined to one army again on Umbro, and the siege is back on. There's still a smaller stack walking off here, clearing up shit like that Dunvale province that got taken by Vettiheim. But there is not much left of Vettiheim, and there is something interesting you should know. The player who put up the Ace of God, the player of Femini, put out some graphs on Discord, because I keep forgetting the Eyes of God is not only showing you what every military unit in the world is doing, giving perfect intel on every single province, it also gives you the graphs so you can have a handy graphical representation of how good someone is doing, which is useful. For example, did you know that Pythium has more research than God? I mean, it's apt since we are all gods here, but he makes research like he's already the Pantocrator, the main creator god, and everyone is lagging behind. I mean, everyone else is on a curve. Pythium has what is more aptly described as a vertical line at this moment, and I shudder to think what happens if he finishes research and can deploy all those mages on the battlefield. It's probably not good for us. We'll probably first have to storm Patala, so we have a couple turns warning if Pythium comes from that direction. Of course, we are also bordering Pythium if our Ulm plan works out. So that's that. Besides, I have this Flying Scout here. So, Flying Scout, please take a look at how good Vettiheim is doing. We know from Discord, from the player of Vettiheim, that his capital is somewhat in this black clutch of darkness here. And otherwise, the graphs were not really a surprise. We're kind of a mediocre nation right now. There was this funny stark dip in our combat power as we saw our 200 undead abominations all die in a single turn. But apart from that, we are not doing so bad. of course, all our neighbors are all on slightly different places on the curve, except for Pythium, who is doing very, very, very well in research. And Ulm is slowly bypassing us in all other counts, probably because they're eating from two different nations right now, while we have not done much. We took some of our neighbors' provinces. Remember, we took one province from Femini by accident. And one from TC, because TC can't do jack shit about it. And that's it. We have some reserve troops, just in case we have to do some counter-raiding on the western frontier. But otherwise, everything is kind of calm. And just noticed if we can fly across enemy provinces, we could get this drone anyway. But we already have 2 drones and have to gear up for getting our third one sitting here in Umbrock. Pythium has already gained the drone province up there, so we have to keep it up. So if this is a level 2 drone province, we would actually get on par with our friend TC right now, but TC is also losing, fighting too many enemies at once, despite giving as good as they get. And we see the first vampires show up, and we see shit like this here, which tells me that there might be blood raiding going on. Ulm is getting to the point where it's dangerous to leave them alive for a nation without blood like ours. So we have to speed things up. As a first moment, I have stopped recruiting in the outlying castles we have, because we need to concentrate on our main shit now. But I'm really, really glad if 2 turns from now we're finished constructing for a bit and can conscript some more mages and troops faster. At least until the Palisades is finished, because then I have to give a large chunk of our budget towards extending the fortification and art and fast, just in case our other neighbors are getting antsy. We're basically now on a line of turns ticking down here, because as soon as art is finished up, it's time to move on. And at the time art is finished, I want to move into Ulm from 3 directions. I want to send an underwater capable army into Silent Ocean. I want to send my main army towards Ulm directly to make short work of this shit, and a 3rd army marching in from the west into Verdlin. There's of course this big army, which will probably come rushing back as fast as they can. Oh, we have no eyes on Ulm itself. Let's take a look. Wow, okay. Slow as scouts. I've already altered my boring recruitment options a bit. In Palgrave we are still recruiting mages and troops, because that's our left flank when we start. Art is doing jack shit, but has also the majority of our active troops right now. Then we have hard to read, right on right, Jelenia Agora here. And here I have switched to mostly spooky, stealthy shit like the Raven Guards and new Raven Lords. In Faircliff we still have this guy and several level 2 mages, which I am collecting now. The rest is the basic defense here and will stay. I'm flying them over here. Well, okay. Why? Exactly how much should I do here? We have Ekus here with his basic infantry, and this guy who can... Yeah, okay, that's something I can do. But first off, let's let all those guys fly over there, so I have more stealthy troops already in art to parcel out. I can't seed Ulm already this early, because our stealthy leaders aren't exactly that stealthy. They only have stealth 40, same as their troops. This means if they rock up with 40 troops here, basically any idiot can stumble over them, and that could be funny. I mean, if there isn't enough defense, like here for example, Oh fuck, he's building a fort here. Well shit, we don't really know how good this can be, but... That's the problem. I have no idea when exactly it started. I could have up to 5 turns to do something here, or it could be up next time. At least the outlying provinces aren't really finished yet. He's building a castle right next to his... okay. At least we could lock it up right after it's finished. But there are also a lot of temples we can strike, since the defense on that front is all fairly low. I mean, until now we were peaceful as fuck. And we don't want to war with Patala. Agatha is out and TC is busy as fuck. So until one of our neighbors decisively wins on that side, there's not much going on there, so we can concentrate on our main enemy. Also, we have still some reserve forces posted. Oh yeah, he is still another stealth master here. So the stealth master can move out. Set to sneak, perfect. And the other troops can stay here and guard shit. Shan has actually a lot of troops, but since he's close to our capital, that's probably for the best. Especially as it's already bordering Agatha here. And here we have troops marching all over the place, but not actually that many of them. Could be he is building more castles or sending troops over to the west, fighting TC. He has penetrated fairly deep here, but then our knowledge runs out. Let's see what's over here in the arguably probably not indie provinces. Palgrave is just collecting small numbers of troops for our final push from here. Yeah, we have a fairly sizable force already, some of it hidden. I have to remember that the next stealth armies should probably go to the east, so I can see it from 2 directions. Do I have some weirdo here? Well, no. I've just started recruiting more. And with 2 of those going here, and I'm already having several Raven Lords here. Yeah, that's enough. The next Raven Lord can send over to Palgrave. Reinforce the shady bit here. And yeah, my Ahurani showed up here with his healing capability, and he has Gift of Water Breathing. I've talked about this, so this gives me ideas. Fairly neat ones, really. I thought about summoning a 3rd Ahurani, but I had, of course, this little snatch that there is no laboratory here, so I should probably do this right now. One of the mages randomly picked will do this. Laboratory. Then where's my profit? Because since we are currently having a major force here and I'm not planning on moving it away, I probably should claim this one here. Just so we get the bonus to summoning from here. Thrones. TC still has not lost any of its thrones, and we are currently at level extremely harmless with our 1 throne, and Agatha has even less thrones. Putium, of course, is incredibly does something sneaky again, because clearly he has thrones, at least one of them, but he isn't claiming them, because of course, as we've learned in many runs right now in Dominion 6, with experienced players everywhere, it is a bad idea to just claim thrones right as you get them. We only do this because the Throne of Creation has these insane bonuses to construction and conjuration we want to have. Plus ritual casting level +1, which probably means that our pretender isn't going anywhere as long as we don't need one of their high-end spells like Master Enslaved. Increased turmoil, of course, will hurt our income a little bit. But as we soon expand into Ulm, we also get more income. So we'll have to do things like this. So Hilma, you will be searching magic sites instead. Then we need some other paths, of course. This guy can search for Earth, Astral, Air, Death would be funny. But I have a level 4 Death Mage coming, so if there is anything hidden here, that guy can find it. And our Ahurani has level 2 in water, so we think we're covering up everything now. And our board game master here can now claim the Throne of Ascension. So next turn we'll send this guy over here together with the rest. And thanks to the lab we can then start summoning shit from here and test out the conjuration bonus. Because I probably want another Ahurani and some sacreds that the Ahurani bestowed with underwater power. And I want some units that are better to just fighting instead of fighting and shooting, because if the Ahurani climbs underwater with my undead, just in case, it should have some sacreds that aren't looking around a completely useless crossbow underwater. So this is done here. And of course, yeah, so we're still recruiting small numbers of units here to keep the defense up. And we've started getting more Raven Lords. Probably next turn switch to mages maybe. Ah yeah, and I'm still searching to any kind of fire side. Oh my friend, good luck. Then, okay, back to the news. We actually found a site here. The Earthblood Seafish gives us 2 Earth Gems, so it's at least not bad. Weird, but not bad. Here we have found everything, so it's probably for the best if we are just fucked. Well, I still have 1, 2, 3, 4 some turns. I'll probably start here, higher chances in the forest province to find everything and find anything. Can we speed things up here a bit? Well, we never searched for water here, so why not? Any little bit helps. Ah yeah, our pretender searched here, so Death 2 would probably help. Do we have any more Death Mages we can send over? Well, yeah, there's this guy here. And this guy is, yeah, newly minted here. Death Gams, oh, we don't have so many. This one isn't too useful, and this one already has been twice born, just in case. This one here, well, we can always get another, so I'm thinking of sending him over to Polgrave to beef up the left flank. Then research. In 2 turns we have construction. We can start forging some boosters if we want to. So I don't want to blast through all of our astral right now. Ah shit, I forgot I have also a construction boost. Probably have to put out to good use next turn. Still 2 turns away, fuck. So we can start with conjuration. And then the turn after that do some constructions. And then we're walking to enchantment. What do we have here? Yeah, that's nice, but of course with Pythium having more magic than God herself, that's probably not as useful anymore as main target here. What do we have on the death front? Rigor Mortis hits sadly everyone, so you can only really use it if there are only undead on the ground. 7. Yeah. Ritual of Rebirth. Get slain hero. As a mummy. That's kind of funny. Mummies are like vampires, hard to kill, but they come with a nasty vulnerability to fire. Also, we only get great heals from the Hall of Fame. So whoever is in the Hall of Fame is susceptible to this. So if no one ever fights, then the Hall of Fame is probably fairly empty and you only get jack shit by this spell. Then there is Lichcraft, which is a level 9 spell, since you get an undead mage that's also immortal. Like vampires, it will always come back crawling to the province where you got them the first time around. So if you don't have something like Soul Slay that can even destroy immortals, you are shit out of luck until you manage to capture the province where the spell was originally cast. Luckily it's level 9, so it's probably something Pythium, sorry, will be using soon. Taumaturgy 5. What was that again? Astro? Ah yeah, Soul Slay. That's something we need. Especially if we want to fight undead. So enchantment 6, 7, we'll probably... Okay, construction 8, 9 out. Then reordering some stuff. Alteration. Now there are a lot of astral spells here. That could be potentially useful, especially since I want Arcane Domination in my pocket. You already have some stuff like Invulnerability that's useful. Darkness. Okay, that's not good because most of our units still need to see. But it's always funny if you have death mages and armies that can see in the darkness, because then most armies can't. So that's a nice little combo for you. As a reminder, elf nations can do something similar with glamour magic, since they can first turn everything into twilight and then everything into total darkness. So it's probably a bit more costly than just casting darkness, but on the other hand, it's also kind of obviously that elf mage. Sorry that I'm rambling here, but my cat was blocking my view, so I can't actually read what's on the screen right now. Hey, Amber, come here. So my cat is now a bit more peacefully, and where the fuck were yeah. So funny thing is, to put it this way, if you play an elf nation and you have a strong death caster, then learning darkness might be better than trying to get all the glamour spells to get to darkness the slow elfin way. On the other hand, if you go this way, you immediately lose the good stuff from Twilight. Since, remember, Twilight gives every glamour mage +1 in glamour, and as soon as you turn everything to night, of course that bonus is lost. So clearly, you would need a different tactic. But since there are some spells that only work in Nightfall, it could be a nice little shortcut if you have a death mage. Otherwise, you need your glamour mages, I guess. And of course, undead have so shitty, don't have eyes normally, skeletons for example. So combining this shit with your undead is a nice boost to your side. Skeletal Legion is one of the few undead mass spells that targets living units, which basically it turns everyone into fake skeletons, making them highly resistant against piercing attacks. But it's also a one-way ticket because it can cause a disease, and magic resistance negates that shit. Oh, that's interesting to see. So, first point of order, the caster won't be gaining any additional resistances. So since the caster is most likely to already be a skeleton or something else undead monstrosity, that makes sense. Second, disease can be resisted to with high magic resistance, so it's not a done thing. But still, you're potentially risking a lot of units if you use this spell. It works probably best if you have either tons of cheap shit where you don't mind if hundreds of them die horribly, or if you have units with extremely high magic resistance and additionally some disease healers. It's arguably a bit weird, but if you find a use for it, go for it. Then we have Bone Grinding, which causes people to be crippled, or getting a limb at least. And Cripple can kill any unit that moves off the battlefield, so that's something. Limb, however, just gives some stat penalties and lets the units move slower. Ethereal beings are rarely hurt. Yeah, some numbers would be nice. Also, it includes some damage, so it's not just breaking your bones, it's acknowledging that breaking your bones fucking hurts. Also, it's kind of funny because I never really looked at this too closely. It also works on undead units. There is actually nothing that is not inside this view, so if this is working as described here, you could theoretically also take something like a large blob of slime and giving it a limp, maybe even giving it a cripple status effect. At least the second effect is easily negated by magic resistance, so that's that. It's of course only useful if the enemy has lots of cheap shit, because nothing is more hilarious than making it so that even if the enemy wins, it might be that 500 units of cheap chaff can't move anymore because it would kill them. Then we have Disintegrate far below here. Like Soul Slay, it's a spell that can kill everything as long as the magic resistance roll is failed. What I'm thinking is Soul Slay of course destroys even the soul, so it ends immortal creatures. Disintegrate might be just for extremely hard targets that would normally no-sell any normal attack. I think immortal shit would come back anyway. Utter Dark is incredibly insane. It destroys worldwide incomes and resources, except for caves and deep seas, and it forces all battles into darkness. Very good with demons, blind beings, and beings with spirit sight, or perfect dark vision. Everyone else just has to suck shit. I remember in a game where I actually managed to cast Utter Dark. It was hilarious. Sadly, it was the same game that then ended due to a too many skeletons error bug in Dominions 4 times. I'm not so sure if I want to continue down that road then. We don't really have anyone who can cast Astral Fires. Mind Hunt is always skewed. 40% of the enemy mage's astral level detection chance. So a level 1 mage can actually be too weak to be detected. At level 2 astral that would be 80%, and at level 3 you will always be detected. So this is interesting because Mind Hunt works on best if you have Soul Slay, otherwise Mind Burn might just hurt the enemy, while a Soul Slay will probably kill them outright. You have to remember that this is the card of the attacking mage, so you're risking your astral mage. If the enemy doesn't have any astral mages, of course, you can fuck up some shit if you have this, but it's of course troublesome to use. Ulm, for example, has lots of astral mages, so that's a no-go. Pythium probably has a lot of them. Patala, not so much. TC is probably like Agatha, fairly safe. They probably have only a small number. So as long as I'm not using everyone, who I can't easily replace. Yeah, that should be a nice second attack mode weapon, but while our research speed is nice, it's not eternally superb. Then alteration, conjuration, yes. We want also an Fravashi at some kind of a Mesha Spenta. Mind Hunt is level 6, so that's actually not that far. Astral Tempest is nice if you have high resistance against magic, because then it can't do much to you. And it doesn't affect mindless beings, like for example, these guys. They're mindless. So I can just slowly walk across the battlefield and do nothing while the enemy gets weaker and weaker. I probably should make a second blob, just to keep more coverage here. So hold and attack, closest enemy. So someone should, of course, double line. That's of course something I could try. Yeah, that works probably better since I don't want to use too many. Oh, interesting. So sparse skirmish formation gives us a -1, while this one only gives us in a box formation. No difference. So interesting to see how the limitations of Alala's leadership qualities are. Well, let's leave it at a double line. Those fucking huge things. I have to remind everyone that my units can fly, so I don't need to give a shit about this. And my Earthbound can't fly, but they can shoot over, and they're beefed up by their sacred powers, and of course their crossbow bolts are also magically. I've changed things so that mages are now recruited in Palgrave, since there aren't that many yet. And we're changing things over here to more Earthbounds for this turn. Fuck. I just hit reset. I'm the worst. So let's see, how should I do things here now? Probably send everyone I need over. I need a Stormcaster on that left flank. Then how many mages I have is a good question here. How many troops do... Oh yeah, also Wiederwerner is still collecting troops. Since he can move over in a single turn, I'll keep him collecting troops, but I've sent over the mages already. Any more mages recruited right now? Nope. Most of my mages are on the right flank, or over here. I'll probably redistribute some of the mages if they... Oh, of course. There are some useful ones here. And I'll move them to the left flank then. Take a couple turns. Here is mostly my stack of research mages. If things work out like I want, one of my Ahuranis will go underwater and then later join up with the main force after Silent Ocean is taken. And of course hurts my research for this turn, but since I need a second turn anyway, it's not too bad. So the undead formation, and if my Ahurani surprise is ready in a couple turns, will then march straight up into Silent Ocean, and the army I'm preparing on the left flank will march there, and my strongest army will march in over here from out. Oh, also now that I have leaders again, can... Oh, what? Oh, it's board game. The Ravenlord turned. Yeah, okay, that was interesting. Forgot it. There's Ravenlord. He isn't a good leader. What's up with my mages? Oh, they have normal leadership, so in a sense, yeah. Isn't there... here. Okay. No idea, but probably a single mammoth isn't cutting it. But Gaon can have these units here. And these units, and then he's already full. Yeah. Okay. Bit more guarding commandering here. Oh, and there is a second army. So, up. There's even a third army. Well, now we have divided stuff out again here. Double line formation. And waiting until the crossbows are magical. And we have rearmost attacks with the troops who can weather our own thunder strikes the best. No idea what I'm doing with those. I'm putting them a little back, since they can fly. It's irrelevant where exactly they stand. So yeah, so... Well, they have shields, so... Of course, if the enemy shoots at archers, it's kind of, again, irrelevant where things go down. I still have tons and tons and tons of units here. This is more like a reserve force here. Oh yes, the second Earthbound troops here. Double formation? Yeah. So let's put them in front. Those here on the main line. On the other hand... Okay, let's keep it like this. The Storm Guards are attack into the rear, and the other infantry attacks closest to keep everyone busy, while my Earthbounds shoot everyone full of bolts. And of course the Raven Guards are kind of the jack-in-the-box. They probably will not be here, because since they don't have Thunder Strike resistance, yeah, they're probably going to eat it in a huge battle if I have enough mages to matter. So this army is already ready with 300 units, and here over I'm still lagging behind. There are only 160 units. You'll probably see reinforcements from my capital then. Well, all stealthy units go over there because there's only one stealthy leader right now. And all mages I can scrape together will go over there too, to join up with the few air and death casters I can spare. Yeah, that's really it. So we have taken out and are now claiming the throne here, and hopefully getting some more nice little bit here from the ground here. Some last minute gem sites would be nice. And we are already in the phase of preparing for invasion of Ulm, which I want to start with attacks on at least 3 different provinces all at once. And if we concentrate on the middle here, this might mean that all of our armies are close enough together to reinforce each other if necessary. But before we start, I want to see what exactly is in Ulm itself, since the first counterattack will probably come from there, next from up north, and whatever army troops are in the east will come later, I guess. So those movements are kind of hair-raising, and I'm guessing from next turn onward I can start thinking what I have to do with my good old Raven Lords. How many do I have here? Yeah, let's look at the map next turn. So this is it. There are lots of wars around us, and we're concentrating on bringing down Ulm for now. We'll have to hit hard and fast. And I really would like to have Soul Slay before we start, so I have pulled Thaumaturgy 5 forward. So our Astral Mages can have something to do against vampires. Of course, if there's enough other enemy units around, then the Soul Slayers will attempt to hit just something random in the range and probably utterly kill it. Then the alteration spells, so our Astral Overlords get something more to use. And then I'll probably go to Conjuration here, so we can get our maximum fuckers here. The Abomination isn't actually that good, even though it would be nice to have. They are huge big monsters. Yeah, would be useful to have, and they're fairly cheap. But I don't know if I want to waste a level 9 slot on them just now. Well, that's it for this turn. We are building up out and are already preparing for our next big operation, and this time it's another player, not just a bunch of idiots sitting alone in a single province waiting for death. So next turn we will start looking at continuation and construction bonuses and continue to gear up for the final attack. Minimum order of the day is 3 turns, because that's how long it takes for us to get to Thaumaturgy 5. We need 1, 2, 3 turns, yeah. In 3 turns, our palisades should be finished and we starting to build up the next level of fortification. And yeah, lab and temple should be ready, and hopefully we have already forged everything together we need. 3 turns from now should also be something like 45 more undead abominations for its central attack. The next turn I can get another Ahurani, or maybe... yeah, let's see how we want to do things. Since Ahuranis can fly too, I can of course freely choose to save up on our astral pearls a little, since I also have to forge something. But at the very least there will be a summoning next turn. Of course you only get to see health units turn after that. Ah yeah, that's time in Dominion 6. Well, enough zooming around. Is there something I've forgotten? There's the little end shortcut here. Yeah, all those mages and leaders sitting around here for now. That's kind of funny. Storm General, Ravenlord. Okay, can I put you into hiding? Yeah, I can. Perfect. Do I have any scouts somewhere? Yeah, Hilad. No idea what's going on here. Why are there... is this because one of the enemy nations just went poof? Well, let's take a look around. Yeah, this guy has to stay here as close in intel. Same for our other neighbors. Bogarus is... nee, that's Polgrave. That's just another one of ours. Our Dust 540 leader. Scout. Hey, what's with you? Let's go look into this direction here. Then this guy here. Agatha trying... oh, 20 units, so this is also just a small raiding force. So right now TC is using small and medium-sized stacks to keep the riffraff out. And Ulm is one of the few big pushes from the enemy into TC that I've seen so far. So of course shit like this here, where one of the enemies... yeah, that must be been Andromania, I think, and that's at least one dead nation here. Of course I can't look at what's going on. I'm remembering the right shortcut here. Should be... that's drones. That weird symbol in green is global spells, and then we that is our nation. Messages, fuck's sake, pretenders of the world. So let's see. Andromania is still there, so that's not it. Bogarus is defeated, and oh, that was a Raga army of Ragas. So yeah, these guys, these absolute clowns. We of course are at war with Fimini, who's even though unofficially we're at peace. The difference between Discord diplomacy and in-game diplomacy right here. In Patola that was of course half a joke, half real. And we don't want to do anything to Patola right now, so let's not do anything. The one thing, of course, about preparing a huge invasion force is, even if Patola wants to do something, if they invade just as we are finishing up our force that we want to send into Ulm, we can just turn around and stomp them flat in short order and get all of their resources and another drone over here. But it's that's of course not what I want to do. Look at Lost Lands, please. Thank you. Especially since Ulm is on the other side of our capital. Well, Patala is... yeah, okay. they sit here. Yeah. So they have more to fear from us than the other way around. And yeah, that's it. And that's all I can do. A stockpile of games. I have lots of nature and glamour games I can't really use, since I don't have either of those fuckers. I could turn them into astral pals, of course, if I wanted to. We probably don't need to do anything about Earth games ever again. We're also set on water games, but of course air and earth, air and death. Those are kind of understrength. But that's the late age for you. No magic. No magic at all. Lipluini out.